Hola. Hopefully it sounds okay here. I'm walking around in my homeless office here. But it's like a home office, but I don't have a home. I have two homes. My honorary aunt, uncle. It's pretty good situation. Got my stuff out of storage. All of my stuff's over at my uncle's place, and I stay there a few nights a week, which is pretty cool. And just as a home base, do laundry instead of at a laundromat, cook up some meals instead of you know always eating out wings or whatever. So it's a nice mix up, change of pace, and it brings my monthly expenses down to car insurance and my cell phone bill, food and gas. And I don't spend much on either of those. That's how I insulate myself from all the bullshit that's going on in this world. So speaking of bullshit, didn't we just have recently a 12-day war to end Iran's nuclear capabilities? I thought that's what happened. That's what we were told, right? And so now, pause it for a second while we're any of those clucking hens in my fucking video. Anyways, so if we got rid of their nuclear capabilities, then I just heard Marco Rubio say, look at what they're capable of, because they're striking all these U.S. bases. It's like, capable? What does capable have to do with it? I mean, they were retaliatory responses. Like, if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm pretty sure the United States would do that, right? Like, if Iran did something on U.S. soil that you could prove, I mean, so many false flags. And out of those false flags, you're going to have real situations. It's going to be very difficult to tell the difference. And the end result's the same. But I don't understand if we nuked all their, for lack of a better term, nuclear capabilities, then why are we going back to war with them again? And as far as being capable, look what they're capable of. They said, well, capable, I mean, if they don't have nuclear weapons, they're less capable than Russia, China, Israel, even though they say they don't have nuclear weapons, the United States. Like, everyone's got nukes, right? Donald Trump says it himself, which, by the way, I would have voted for him over Kamala, because Democrats are... Whoops. I'm going to have to edit that out. Had to edit out the R word there. Anyways, so, if you're going to go on capable, well, by that notion, then people should be attacking the United States because they're capable of destroying all these planets, or all these countries, right? So, planets. Let's go. The planet, I guess, maybe I was thinking. Freudian slip. But, I don't really understand that side of it. And I mean, if we were to believe everything that we're told, I mean, this to me, I don't really have any conclusions. I don't really know what to believe. I mean, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, was this evil dictator. I just see images, right? And if you look at any country, like look at Canada, we're all divided. We can't even get a majority government, right? And then you look at the United States, they're divided. Every country's divided. The UK is divided. You think Iran's not divided? Do you think there's not Iranian people that want to wear burqas and Iranian women that don't? So, I don't know how you see a picture of a bunch of women in burqas and think, oh, that's Iran now, versus all countries are divided, right? So you see an image, it doesn't necessarily mean shit, right? So, one more second, you gotta pause it. All right, so, anyways, I don't even know where I was leaving off. But if you've got all of these, different photos that say, oh, the life is like this or life is like that, and then you look at, they have crazy inflation. Well, look at the sanctions that happened around, the late 70s. Look at the CIA and British intelligence backed coup in the 50s of Iran. So, if you're going to have sanctions, obviously that's going to affect like supply chains and all sorts of things. So inflation is going to go through the roof when you can't, prices go up when you can't have access to things. And the humanitarian aid that comes through, like medical supplies and food, often doesn't get through there when they're trying to help with sanctions that are aimed at like the upper levels of government, but they affect the people. So, you know, it ends up sowing dissent, right? So you put all these sanctions on, prices go through the roof, people's quality of life plummets, and they're going to blame their leadership. But that doesn't, so maybe he's a bad guy and it's compounded. Maybe he's not and it's bullshit. I don't really know. The point is, whatever you think, we're being told that we went to war to get rid of their nuclear capabilities, which we did in 12 days, and now we have to go destroy more because why? Because they're still capable? I don't know. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So, I guess we're supposed to believe that Libya, Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan, these wars were mistakes. Vietnam, but this time they're telling the truth. I find that hard to believe. And two things can be true. Like I don't think it's about nukes. I don't think it's about oil. I think the oil is like an added benefit, right? So if the oil is going to be an added benefit, okay, great. That's why, it's an added incentive. But that doesn't mean that it's not really about the leakage of their banking system. Leakage meaning that, global banks and stuff and other countries can't control what Iran does through their banking system. And this globally is a big issue if you want to start talking digital ID and global payment systems that all interact with each other, especially when Iran is, China's biggest supplier of energy, ties into BRICS. So, there's a lot of moving parts here, and it's certainly, the truth is never what they tell you. Like, we should all have learned that. We can't even get the truth about, COVID, the data, JFK, Charlie Kirk. Like, it's 20, 30 years before you find out bits of the truth. It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. I think you need to question everything, but I don't really understand. I don't really understand what the play is here, but at the end of the day, I think it all revolves around control, power, payment systems, banking, digital ID, resources, that kind of thing. So that's where we're at. Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious because I don't really know. I have a lot of questions, a lot of doubt. I'll see you next time.